में एक बार फिर आप सभी का स्वागत है। आदरणीय महानिदेशक श्री शैलेंद्र शर्मा जी, CPWD के सभी वरिष्ठ अधिकारीगण तथा YouTube के माध्यम से हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए सभी अतिथियों का मैं एक बार फिर हार्दिक स्वागत करती हूँ। भारत के प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने लिखा है, टू मी टेक्नोलॉजी यूज्ड वाइजली इज अ कैटलिस्ट टू मैजिकली ट्रांसफॉर्मिंग द वे वी लिव। यह कहना उचित होगा कि नई तकनीकों के कार्यान्वयन से लोक कार्यों को शीघ्रता एवं कुशलता से किया जा सकता है। इस सत्र की पहली प्रस्तुति के लिए मैं राइजिंग जापान इंफ्रा प्राइवेट लिमिटेड से श्री रतन सिंह जी को आमंत्रित करती हूँ। ये राइजिंग हाइब्रिड प्रीकास्ट पैनल सिस्टम पर प्रस्तुति देंगे। सर, ओवर टू यू।
स्वागत है और मैं आपको बधाई देता हूँ। आपके समारोह पे बहुत सक्सेसफुल प्रोग्राम रहा आपका आज का।
थैंक यू।
आज का जो मेरा विषय है बेसिकली हाइब्रिड सिस्टम, तो नाम का कह रहे हैं, लेकिन प्राइमरली जो है वो पैनल्स के ऊपर है। पैनल इस देश में मेरी आवाज आ रहा है आपको? अच्छा, पैनल सिस्टम पिछले 8-10 साल से देश के अंदर है और कई कंपनी जैसे HIL ने शुरू किया था, उसके बाद और भी कंपनी आए, फाइबर सीमेंट से भी लेके आए और यहाँ पर पैनल से बेसिकली काम होता है जो कि पार्टीशन के रूप में इस्तेमाल होता है, मेनली ऑफिसेज में और पार्टीशन दुकानों में, कमर्शियल प्लेसेस के अंदर। लेकिन कंस्ट्रक्शन एज सच विद द वॉल, आउटर एंड इनर वॉल, with load bearing and non-load bearing, that is something which was missing. And what was missing was that a strength of the panels should be such that one can depend on the durability of that and also life of it. We were invited here. I stay in Japan and I'm working with this company for the last 11 years. My colleagues are there. That is Girish Singh. He's the director who's in charge for Asia. Ms. Leopan, she is in charge for India. We came here in the Global Technology Challenge, and in that we were selected as one of the top technology, and based on that we were given the opportunity to have a lighthouse project in Indore, and we are executing it. 1028 मकान हैं जो हम वहाँ बना रहे हैं और लगभग 60 से 65% काम उसमें हो गया है। इंदौर के अपने निजी प्रॉब्लम्स थे जिसके कारण वो जहाँ काम जल्दी नहीं हो पाया, नहीं तो और भी जल्दी हो सकता था, कोरोना की वजह से भी था और लेबर की प्रॉब्लम भी थी। आज की मेरी जो प्रेजेंटेशन है मैं सीधा उसके ऊपर आता हूँ। मेरी वीडियो प्रेजेंटेशन है सारी, क्योंकि मैं मानता हूँ कि कान से सुनने में आदमी कम विश्वास करता है, आँख से देखने में ज़्यादा करता है। तो मैं पहले आपको कुछ वीडियो दिखाऊंगा, उससे संबंधित फिर आपके जो भी सवाल होंगे उसको मैं आपसे अटेंड करूंगा और उसका जवाब दूंगा। तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि गिरीश से वो आपको सबसे पहला वीडियो जो हमारा इसके संबंध में है वो आपको दिखाएंगे।
देश की आजादी कितने सालों के बाद 5 करोड़ परिवार ऐसे हैं जिनके लिए आवास निर्माण आवश्यक है। करीब 2 करोड़ शहरों में है, 3 करोड़ गांवों में है। लेकिन सरकार अगर मदद करे, बैंक अगर मदद करे, पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप मॉडल आगे बढ़े, 2022 भारत की आजादी के 75 साल होंगे। 2022 तक 5 करोड़ घर बनाने।
ये दोनों तरफ में ये ब्लॉक बना के अंदर सर बगैर पानी का प्रयोग किया, सीमेंट है सर, थर्मोकोल है और फ्लाई एसिड, कोई पानी का प्रयोग नहीं है। इसको जो फायर रेजिस्टेंट है सर 60 तक ये सर 7.4 कॉस्ट भी सर 30% का कॉस्ट कमाता है सर। इनकी एक फैक्ट्री नागपुर में ऑलरेडी बनी है सर, एक फैक्ट्री पुणे बना रहे हैं सर, बनारस में सर ये फैक्ट्री बनाने जा रहे हैं बराबर। और इस प्रकार से सारा का सारा सर ये कॉस्ट भी कम है, बहुत तेजी से इसको काम।
प्रधानमंत्री योजना के कारण हमने अभी वहाँ पे किडवाई नगर में 3 दिन के अंदर
बनारस में सर करने से इनका अगर सर आप इस ब्लॉक को सर बनारस में इसको लगाएंगे सर आपका फाउंडेशन सिग्नेचर हो गया सर दिस विल बी ये फाउंडेशन आपके मुझे फाउंडेशन बना पाएंगे सर
对了，然后再拍上面没有事，一人是没有近距离，再拍就打透了再打，透了，烧着。
Go near the surface so there are no cracks. No cracks.
看这个头它不尖都可以打，这个头是平的。
他的这个脚打完，他那个对称的脚打完，他退了嘛，都尽量退了。可是他不是一样。
哇，这地板怎么这么多？
结果不一样。我那个小锤子，一个小锤子，对，我打这个脚就可以了。
only one part of it, that is the properties of the product. It's the testing situation, where does it stand, and how useful it can be in the normal environment. Now, the second question which normally comes to us is that how do you install it? Is there any special tools to install? Is there any special purpose to install? Do you use some chemicals for it? How do you install? That is an important question. So we have covered that, the installation, how the installation is being done. Both the frames are acceptable to it, normal conventional RCC frames or the steel structure, PEB structure. Both are acceptable to this system, and I would request to run the video for this.
Hammer, trowel, electric circular saw, electric drill, infrared level instrument, ruler, accessories, wooden wedge, steel bar, anti-crack tape, cement mortar. Step 1. Setting line. And lift the wall panels and installation accessories to the location ready for install. Step 2. Applying cement mortar. Apply Zhongjingtai Pacific cement mortar to the floor and the groove of the wall panel. Step 3. Installing wall panel. Assemble the cement mortar-filled wall panels into the right position. Lever from the bottom of the wall board with a gauging trowel. Make it tight. Temporarily fix with wooden wedges. Using L-type steel bar to reinforce the wall panel and floor or ceiling. Step 4. Cutting. Using an electric saw, cut to the sizes needed. Length 180 by 6 mm steel bars are required to enter from the 45-degree angle into 2 panels. Step 5. Correcting. Step 6. Grouting, filling up cement mortar. Step 7. Staking anti-crack tape. 2. Step 8. Slotting and wiring. Setting lines on places needing to be set with concealed wire and switch box. Then cut a groove by the electric saw, filling with specific mortar after installation. Step 9. Installing door frame and wall frame. Reserve enough space according to the size of the door and window. Then install the wall panel. Step 10. Decorating the wall surface directly by plaster, wallpaper, tiles, and other painting. If the height of the wall exceeds 5 meters and the length of the wall exceeds 8 meters, the square bar, H-bar, or channel seal should be added correspondingly to strengthen the joint.
You are running out of time and I got an order from one of your officers. Please conclude. So I would like to conclude. The purpose of this presentation is not to teach you the technology, because I don't think I'm capable of teaching an engineer. But the idea is that if it is useful for a common person, it can be applied for the masses where everybody can be benefited out of this. That is the idea of our plant. We have set up plant in India, and those plants
Where
are
exactly
working
in
already.
India?
And
Where is your plant in India?
one is in Nagpur and one is in Pune. And Nagpur plant is now working on 3-shift basis. Third plant we are planning in northern India. But to be very honest, I as a company would not like to set up something unless I have a local partner. This is how we operate. So if we get a suitable partner in northern India, we will definitely be interested to do that. That is how it is. We are producing about 2,500 square meter per day per ship at this moment. And if we run it for 3 shifts, it's about 7,000 square meters.
ये जो आपकी parent company,
70,000.
your parent company Rising Hongfa, ये है, where is it incorporated?
Yes, that is incorporated in Japan. It's a Hongfa group, and the plants are in China. We have 4 plants.
Hongfa China है या जापान है? मतलब कि वीडियो में भी जो मैं लैंग्वेज सुन रहा हूँ तो it is not Japanese, it is Chinese.
Hongfa is the parent company, the headquarters is in Japan.
Where exactly in Japan?
Sorry?
Where exactly?
Osaka.
Okay.
And from there, the investment is made in China. And there are 2 partners which are in Chinese. And the plants are 4 plants is in China, 1 is in Japan. Now, out of that, 7 plants are outside China. 2 are in India. We have 1 in Ethiopia. We have 1 in Uzbekistan. We have 1 in Bahrain. We have 1 in Dubai. And 3 more plants are coming up. We are operating in almost 45 countries now, where we have distribution system or people are importing from us. This is how we are plant manufacture ourselves. Our main specialization is the plant and technology development. We are a recognized R&D center by the government, and we work with the universities, different universities, and thereafter we develop. Today we actually manufacture anything related to building materials. Any plant, whether it's a brick plant, AEC plant, or paver, anything which you mentioned, we are making it into pilot plants. So this is the technology which is latest as far as wadding is concerned. After this, there is no development as such so far, and this is what is the reason why we brought it. Okay.
Right.
This is a
Cost of construction has been carried out a survey by the NBCC. They have concluded that 23% is the net saving in the total construction, including time and labor and material cost. And in that also the one other point which has been raised is 11% extra living area we are getting as against the conventional homes. This is the analysis which NBCC has done because we did a project here. Per square meter residential. Per square meter. Cost of construction depend करता है आप किस से कंपेयर कर रहे हैं, AEC से कंपेयर कर रहे हैं या ब्रिक से कर रहे हैं।
ऐसा है ना, आप ओवरऑल कॉस्ट पूछ रहे हो, ये अपने प्रोडक्ट की बात कर रहे हैं, छोड़ो यार, ठीक है, जिसके ठीक है, गॉट इट, ओके।
We already have a CPWD SOR which was done in 2017. Also some other notifications from CPWD were approved. This is the plant which is in Nagpur right now. We actually have a full video which explains the process, but it's online available on our website and on YouTube.
नहीं, हमें प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस से क्या करना वो आप देखो।
Yes.
हमें तो फिनिश प्रोडक्ट से मतलब।
जो भी कोई ज्यादा पूछना चाहता है आप मुझे ईमेल भेजें, हम आपको जवाब।
Okay.
और बाकी सर ये किताब जो मैंने आपको दी है इसमें आपके सब सवालों के जवाब हैं। Thank you very much.
धन्यवाद सर,
थैंक यू।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। अगली प्रस्तुति के लिए मैं आउटी नॉट फॉर्मवर्क्स प्राइवेट लिमिटेड से समीर बापट जी को आमंत्रित करती हूँ। ये यूजेज, फीचर्स एंड बेनिफिट्स ऑफ सिस्टम फॉर्मवर्क इन कंक्रीट एंड सिटू कंस्ट्रक्शन फॉर हाउसिंग एंड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स पर प्रेजेंटेशन देंगे। सर, आपसे अनुरोध है कि कृपया अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन 25 मिनट की समय अवधि तक सीमित रखें। धन्यवाद।
Just outside. We actually have 3 other
कुर्सी खींच लो, इधर आ जाओ, यहाँ इधर।
projects happening. Plus the Indore project.
Welcome everyone. Let me start by congratulating everybody at CPWD on your foundation day and wishing you all the success going forward. And also let me start by thanking people at CPWD for giving us an opportunity to share our presentation with all the bright engineers over here. So we kept our presentation on the features of system formwork, which can be used for multi-story apartment kind of a construction and also for various infrastructure usage, looking at the work which CPWD is carrying out. So we are a French multinational established in the year 1955, and we've set up shop in India in the year 2018, and we've been manufacturing in India and exporting from India to various countries all over the world. So everything is as per the world standards, or the SOPs are followed to get the same quality which is being offered to everyone else in the world. So we'll start with a brief background on the company. So this is an overview of our plant in France. That's the facility in India, which I said has been operational since 2018. So a brief background. So Mr. Charles Bohr is the gentleman who had started with Utinor, and it had started, if I can add, as a answer to all the challenges which were being faced by people who were using precast as a technology. So all the logistical issues which were there, to answer those, he came up with first the wall forms, which was the first cast in situ technology. And then the second product which was introduced is tunnel form, which is used on the lighthouse project, which is what is being executed at Rajkot also. So all our solutions are for cast in situ concrete structures. So these are some of the milestones on our journey. As I said, we started with steel formworks, wall forms, column forms. Then this is the first type of tunnel formwork which was used. So these are the other milestones on the way. So these are some new wall forms which were introduced, and these are our safety platforms which can be integrated with any kind of construction, all conforming to again the international standard of safety. And now we have a product line which, as I mentioned, tunnel form, which is what is being used at Rajkot. Now this technology gives you a solution to cast your slabs and walls together, and we can have a daily pouring of slabs and walls up to about 2,000 square feet, and with that speed we can achieve the speed of construction. So ideally suited for projects which we want to finish in good time with good accuracy, and a combination of the features which the system gives you, and we can achieve the efficiency which is needed for the project. Conclusion rather. So these are our other system which is called the wall forms. So these are used for all the vertical members. So this is another example where we can have an efficiency in the sense that practically what is being achieved in India today is we are able to cast a single pour of up to about 30 running meter of wall of about 3.5 meter height. So that is the speed with which we can again achieve the construction. And all our system formworks are modular in nature. So what I mean is you can stack as many as you want on top of each other, and you can line as many as you want next to each other. So it is like a jigsaw puzzle. And the maximum single pour that we've had for a wall form is 23 meters height. A single pour, I'm saying. And you can always repeat it again for whatever is the height requirement is there. Then these are our circular formworks, which work, this is a variable radius formwork. So any structure which is about 3 meter in radius, it can be adapted to suit that structure. So again, ideally suited for things like sewage treatment plant, your ETPs, or normal water tanks and so forth. then these are our table forms. So these are ideally suited for projects which demand large areas or large spans of slabs. So this again is something which will give you a daily cycle and ease of usage, because if you notice the whole thing is on wheels. So once the first casting is done, there is a inbuilt system with which you can lower the system and just push it for the next casting. So our motto is to achieve what we call as industrializing the construction process. Industrialization of the construction process. So wherein using minimum number of components and giving you the accuracy of construction, what we are trying to achieve is the efficiency, where we are using mechanical means mostly for moving about the system, and in the end reducing our dependency on the labor, where the skill set of the labor is becoming a scarcity, looking at various factors which have been which have been there factoring for all the projects which are going on at this point of time. So these are similarly our column forms, so which can be adapted from a column size of 200 by 200 going up to 1000 by 1000 with a pitch of 50 mm in both axes.
The same form work can be used for, flexibly.
That's right, sir. So the same, it works like a swastika design.
I saw that.
You can keep expanding it, yes.
Okay.
So these are our safety platforms, which again gives you flexibility of using it in a scenario where there is a wall or if there are only slabs cast. And also we can increase the length, we can increase the width. And again, these are typically used on our tunnel formwork, where the weight of the tunnel can go up to 2.5 tons. So they are very robust in design and can be adapted for all kinds of construction. Now, these are some benefits of the tunnel formwork. So all our system formworks, what we use is high carbon steel, and that gives us the weather resistance, and that also gives us the strength in the system. And based on that, what we are guaranteeing is a minimum 500 repetitions to get out of the system. So that is the kind of utility and the life that all our systems have. And of course, as I mentioned, we can look at a daily slab cycle. So that is the speed benefit. Then the finish that you get on the concrete with our system, with all our systems, if I may add, is an F5 or a fair face finish concrete. So you don't need to go for then any plastering on that. So the plastering as an activity is taken out of the construction schedule. So, and then as I spoke about the accuracy of the system, then flexibility, because the same system can be adapted for various sizes and various width and various lengths and so on and so forth. So these are just to highlight some of the features as far as architectural styles are concerned. It can be adapted to various architectural styles. Then these are the benefits which a developer can see in the system. One of the highlights is that you are looking at a very, very predictable, highly predictable construction cycle. So then you can plan your cash flows accordingly. Then as I said, your dependency on your skill set of the labor goes down drastically. And then because these are all concrete structure, your maintenance cost on long run also goes down drastically. Then these are some of the benefits as far as the structural benefits are concerned. All these products are giving you a solution for getting a monolithic construction. So all the inherent benefits which are there, which comes from a monolithic structure, will be available. One of the highest or one of the most important benefits is that these structures perform much better in case of an earthquake happening. So earthquake resistance is one of the best which is offered in all the built solutions that we have. Then acoustical level insulation is again one of the better acoustical levels which can be achieved because we are using concrete as a structure. Now, these are the benefits for the construction team. Typically, again, that we are reducing the cost of construction. we are having much more predictable timeline and project cycles. And all the systems, as far as the safety are concerned, are incorporated within the system itself. So I mentioned about a daily cycle or a daily slab cycle. So this is the gist of a daily cycle that can be achieved. So typically, if I'm starting my work schedule at 7 o'clock in the morning, what you do is, first thing is to do a quick cube test to see that the concrete has achieved the requisite strength. And once you are happy with the result of the concrete strength, that's when you start with the striking of the formwork. And all it takes for me to typically move one set of formwork from first pour to the next pour is about 5 plus minus hours. So what we are trying to reduce here is the time which is basically needed for moving of the formwork. In just 5 to 6 hours, all your formwork is at the second location ready, and then whatever time that we need to spend to get the steel in place is what we are looking at as being achieved for a daily cycle. So that's why on a thumb rule basis, I give you an idea that anywhere around 2,000 square feet of built area is what can be achieved with a daily cycle. So you get all your utilities, steel in place, you get all your box out for the door, windows, etc. in place, and then next, you have all your packages in place. Then you start introducing your electrical conduits. And then by about 2:30, you are ready to start with your concrete pouring. And if you finish your concreting by about 5 o'clock or so, then we are leaving the concrete in place till next day again at 7 o'clock when we are starting. So we are giving the concrete about 14 to 16 hours to achieve the requisite strength which is needed for us to again striking the formwork on next day. Here you can see that we've also in the visual shown that there are certain curtains which are being used. So that is a practice which needs to be used if we are working in colder environments. Otherwise, for normal temperature zones, we really don't need to do this practice. Now, these are some of the sample projects to give you a reference. This is the lighthouse project, which we in fact recently finished the structural part of that, where we have constructed still plus 13-storied 11 blocks, comprising of 1144 apartments.
ये आपने यहाँ पर फॉर्मवर्क प्रोवाइड किया है या एक्चुअल कंस्ट्रक्शन आप ही कर रहे हैं?
सर, इसमें हमारा रोल टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोवाइडर का था. सो हमने फॉर्मवर्क उनको दिया था और हमारे सुपरवाइजर साइट पे थे टू डू द हैंड होल्डिंग विद द एक्चुअल एग्जीक्यूशन व्हिच वाज डन बाय मलानी कंस्ट्रक्शन. And where we gave them 2 half sets, so to say, for a floor plate, and using 2 half sets, they've been able to finish a still plus 13-storied structure, 2 of them parallelly in 40 days time. So an average time for a slab works out to about only 3 days for finishing one slab. Okay, so that is the speed with which we can get any construction of this nature. In fact, that's why you can see.
3 days for half a slab.
Oh, no, sir. 3 days is for the full slab, 1 day for one half, and 2 days for the other half, like that. So the portion which has the your lift course and your staircase wells and all, that portion they are taking 2 days, and for the other half they are taking 1 day. These are some pictures from our other project which is going on right now for Godrej, where we've given them 7 sets, and again they are finishing with half set, repeating it twice on a floor. They are finishing still plus 22-storied apartments. This is one of the other projects where we've done for a G plus 7-storied, finishing 4 towers comprising of 288 units. That's another project with the same group. That's a project which we had done long back for L&T. This is in Mumbai. This is also in Navi Mumbai. This is one of the examples for the wall forms, as I was telling you, that we can finish up to 30. So here particularly 32.5 running meter of single pouring is what they are able to achieve. This is one of our other project where we have supplied table form. This is for the non-typical floors. Then these are some a sample project from column form. For columns, we've done a single pouring of 27-meter height. So that is the kind of height that we can go in single pour. This is a sample for the circular forms, which I showed you.
For circular, it will be like custom made for a particular radius of curvature, is it not?
No, sir. So that is also like a standard form, and you can adapt it for any radius above 3 meter. It is adjustable in nature. And again, it is modular in nature, in the sense that you can stack as many as you want based on what is the total height that you want to cast in a single pouring, as well as what is the segment of the circle that you want to cast in a single
Radius
pouring.
of curvature also can be changed. That's what.
Yes, sir. That's what. It is a variable radius system, but minimum is 3 meters. So anything above, so infinity as in up to a straight line, it can be adapted to any curve. So these are our safety platforms, which, as I said, can work in case of if there is a wall there or if there isn't any wall there. So all kinds of permutation combination we can use them on. So this is a sample of what the speed with which we can work. This is the lighthouse project, as I said. Of course, I've already told you that they've been able to achieve a 40-day cycle for one tower. So these are the architectural layout, and then that's how it converts into a concrete drawing as far as tunnel forms are concerned. So you can see the entire floor is being poured in 2 pours. So these are some of the various stage photographs from the same project. So when the tunnel form is being finished on top, you can start with your finishing activity from the bottom. So it gives you that time to finish and do parallel activity processing, and that's how we achieve the efficiency. And that's how the finished project looks. This is one of the other projects from one of our international projects. This is a 14 levels apartment, completing about 331 in total, and with 3 wings. And you can see on a monthly basis the progress which is happening for the structure. And the whole thing has been finished in 12 months along with all the finishes. So these are some of the other samples for other products, wall forms. So this is a compound wall. Then this is an industrial shed, box culverts of various types. Then these are, we also have system formwork for doing irrigation project, canals, etc. In single pour or in various different lifts also, if we have to. Then these are retaining walls, application of our wall forms basically. So that's it. So as I said, any project where you are looking for speed, where you are looking for accuracy, and where you're looking for efficiency, we can provide you with a system. So thank you all very much for joining here. If there are any questions, we could go over them, please.
Any question, DC? है? इन्हीं का यूज कर चुके हैं. अच्छा. माइक ले लो, सब लोग सुनाई देगा. ऑन नहीं है, रेड लाइट जलती है यूजुअली. क्या हो रहा है? हाँ अब आप बोलो.
Because once we are using it, we are taking advantage of concrete strength. So for stripping this reinforcement after 24 hours or so, the stripping strength of the concrete should be achieved. So you need a high strength concrete to be used. Then self-compacting concrete is to be used.
Of course, self-compacting चाहिए ही चाहिए.
Self-compacting. So
ग्रेड भी हाई चाहिए, मतलब
ग्रेड भी हाई चाहिए.
कितना मिनिमम क्या है? M40
35 तो है ही सर. 35-40 तो सेल्फ लोड की वजह से. Otherwise, very fast construction, sir. We were able to achieve a flat a day at Chennai. पूरा फ्लैट हम एक दिन के अंदर कास्ट कर दिया करते थे. And there were 8 flats on a plate. So it was quite a fast construction activity, and you don't need curing. You can use wax products to just strip the shuttering, remove the shuttering. Shuttering is on rollers, so you just slip it out, and then to lift it through a crane, you have only one hole in the top plate, which is taking at the center of gravity for 1.1 hook. You can lift the entire thing and take it to the other side. And what is not told, and which is you will get by experience, that it is not just mere shifting. It is a mirror shifting of formwork. So you have to work in a cross pattern. Whatever is in the front will go to the back. So that way it is a bit highly involved activity once you take it up at the site. Of course, as I've used it, so it appears to be a child's game, but so once experience is required,
technique.
it needs a lot of technique, and it's very, very technical product. Even for stripping part, you first just think over it that if you have to roll it out, how will you roll it out? So you have to first release the horizontal members, they will sag, then you will have to release the vertical members. It will,
Fold.
Not fold, sir, it will
थोड़ा
become
tilt
tilt.
हो जाते हैं।
It will just become tilt, and then you just push it out. While you are pushing it out, you just apply the this cut oil and all those things, clean the formwork, apply the de-shuttering oil, sir, and then take it to the new site. So it is almost a very, very mechanical activity, interesting also. At the same time requires high level of safety precautions, because you are using very heavy shuttering material to be shifted from one place to another.
Obviously.
So safety standards are also required to be maintained.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. If I can just add to that, again referring to the safety thing, what you mentioned, what happens is because it is an inherent part of the system that we also give these working platforms, which typically are about 3 to 3.5 meter in width. So you have a very, very safe platform on all levels, especially for high-rise apartments, where the worker feels much more safe to work on, and then the efficiency of those people also goes on. And also, just to add to what Sir beautifully elaborated upon, that all you need to work on the formwork is a team of about 15 people. That's about it. So that is where your speed comes in, your efficiency comes in, and also cost saving will come in on the overall project basis. So thank you.
Simple question is whether this formwork is floor to floor or it is like a slip form kind of thing. Because as he explained that entire shuttering you have to take it out and then you have to move it to the other place.
Yes, sir.
Suppose floor to floor.
Floor to floor, one side of the entire structure has to be.
माइक दबा दो एक बार मैंने चलो हाँ अब आया
One side of the structure has to be totally open, from where you can just take it out. It is just like this, it's placed there, cast, and you are just taking it out. So this side has to be totally open. So decision has to be taken at that time, whether at the final time once you have taken out the formwork, whether you have to close it with a wet system or with a dry cladding.
So you have to design the formwork as per the floor height.
Yes, sir. So as Sir mentioned, if I can just add to that, this is actually combination of both what you asked me. So majority of the tunnels will come out. If you imagine a cube, we are finishing all the 3 sides of a cube and the top, and only one surface is what I need to pull the tunnel out from. But at the same time, when it comes to the lift course and the staircase course, those work similar to a jump form where they'll keep on moving up. So it is a combination of both these elements. So what you do is first you go from pouring from one part to the other part horizontally itself, and then you go vertically up. So by the time you come back on the first pouring, the concrete will have achieved that much more strength also. So that's how you try and work out the efficiency and at the same time have sufficient strength for rework.
Can you use it at the other site or other site? Suppose are you using it at X place, can it be used at Y place also?
Yes, sir. In fact, maximum of the components in our system become standard, because what happens is, suppose I have a tunnel of say 3 meter with 1.5 meter 2 parts. If my next project I need to have a 3.2 meter width, all I need to do is to add a 200 mm strip into it. And even if in a case where I need to reduce, I can very well just replace the horizontal portion with a smaller width panel. So like that, the repeatability quotient for most of the components is almost 90%, and it's only the 10% variation is what we will have to go for new purchase, so to say. So that's why it is highly repeatable, and that's why we are also looking at making the whole system last you for minimum 500 repetitions.
Already we are not going too high, suppose 5-story, 10-story.
No, so for that lower story, it is not economical. And I would like to say that if you are using this formwork, it has two dimensions, the vertical as well as the horizontal one. Horizontal one, yes, well explained that you can make it up, make either a smaller one or a add-on piece can be placed. But insofar as it is variation is there in the height, then there you will have to make it up. There you will have to make it up because it has certain components which are prefixed. The roller system is there, sir. So to make that, then you will have to customize it.
ठीक है.
Sir, if I could just add to that, in terms of, if you see a lot of our projects which happen in South America, they're all ground floor villas or G+1 villas kind of. So it can be adapted to small, low-rise buildings as well as high-rise apartment kind of a construction.
बहुत वाइड स्प्रेड होगा तब शायद.
Yes, sir.
जो विलास बता रहे हैं ना, वो तो आप हजारों की संख्या में एक सी बनती है.
Sir, minimum for the feasibility to come in, all you need is about 100 slabs in the project. So it could be 4 buildings of G+25, or it could be 100 or 50 villas, because if you have a G+1 kind of a villa. So that is where the feasibility comes in.
हमारा चैलेंज तो दूसरा है.
हाँ.
हर एक क्लाइंट को आइकॉनिक बिल्डिंग चाहिए और जल्दी चाहिए.
So facade is where all the iconic part can be built into it.
facade आइकॉनिक कर लो.
Okay. धन्यवाद सर.
Sir, if I... Okay, so basically aluminum formwork and tunnel formwork, the basic idea is same, that we are creating a mold at site into which we pour concrete and you get the structure that you want. But from there, they go into opposite direction. Aluminum formwork is entirely designed with the thought process that one person should be able to handle one panel while putting it in and also to remove it out. So you are highly dependent on not just the number, but more so on the skill set of the people. Whereas, as I said, we are looking at industrialization of the construction process. So as I mentioned earlier, that all you need is about 15 people, and those are also just to handle in terms of that the whole handling is actually happening with the crane. Okay, all these people are just there to do the cleaning of the panels between pourings and so forth. And so coming back to your question, so this is a more industrialized approach of construction, and thereby you are getting accuracy and speed. And the other difference in terms of usage is that as sir pointed out, that one of the facade size, I need to keep it open from where my tunnel should be able to be pulled out, and then it goes up. So that secondary construction comes in for finishing of the facade. But we look at it as an opportunity, because otherwise it's a concrete structure, right? So facade is where we could play with various other product building material wise, so that we have better conditions, livable conditions inside of the structure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
धन्यवाद सर, बहुत ही ज्ञानवर्धक प्रस्तुति. अगली प्रेजेंटेशन के लिए मैं जिंदल स्टील से संजय नंदनवर जी को आमंत्रित करती हूँ. ये कॉम्पोजिट बिल्डिंग्स एंड स्पीड फ्लोर टेक्नोलॉजी पर प्रस्तुति देंगे. आपसे अनुरोध है कि कृपया अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन 25 मिनट की समय सीमा में पूर्ण करें. धन्यवाद.
Good afternoon, sir. We are from myself, Sanjay Nandanwar from Jindal Steel and Power Limited, and with me on the right, Mr. Varun Thareja, on left, Mr. Rohit Lamba. So, thank you for giving us the opportunity on this great event on 128th Annual Day celebrations of CPWD. And we as a Jindal Steel and Power, sir, we are having a 10 million ton plant in India at we have a 10 million ton plant in India at 3 locations in Angul, Odisha, Raigad, Chhattisgarh, and Pathratu, near Ranchi, Jharkhand. We are also expanding our plant to 15 million tons in a year or so. So these are our core values, which we mentioned it as a possible. So I will skip this slide as a policies. So JSPL, sir, we are an integrated steel plant where we have a raw material handling station, oxygen plant, blast furnaces, cocoa and sinter plants, and all these are very important for producing a clean steel, followed with the electric furnaces, basic oxygen furnace, and then further rolling mills. Some of the product range which is also important for the composite construction, that's why I thought I will include these slides. We are also in multiple products, like we are producing TMT rebars in CRS grades. We have produced 50 millimeters of TMT rebars now in India, and we have received the BIS license also this year, sir. We are also producing the plates, rails, then structurals and other sections, UBOCs. So I will. So these are the structural sections where the angle, channel, beam, column, sheet piles, all these things are there. These are used for the composite constructions. In the wire rod product.
Maximum grade you are producing by now?
Pardon, sir?
Grade. Like say you dia 50 mm.
Yeah.
Grade kahan tak abhi?
50 mm and 45 mm we have developed in 500D, sir. Because it is a seismic prone and UTS-YS ratio is very high, more than 1.2, which is also complying to 13920 of BIS standards, seismic zone code.
500, 550 also?
No, 550 we are not developed right now. We have developed 500D in 45 and 50 millimeters, sir, which will be used for the heavy foundations. These are some of the state-of-the-art technology of our TMT rebar mill. It's a fully automated process. And the beam and columns which we are mentioning here, we are also producing up to 900 millimeter beams and columns of heavy sections, sir. Plates in India, we are producing 5 meter wide, one of the widest plates, and up to 40 meter length. This is our state-of-the-art technology in our Angul plant, and we have the grades which we are developed from starting from 250, 350, 410, 450, and also going up to 690. And further, we have developed up to 1200 MPa strength of the YS strength of the steels. Also for defense applications, we have gone up to 1700 MPa strength of steels. This is also one of the applications of sheet piles we are using for various applications. For Mumbai coastal road project, we are using this sheet pile, sir. This is our indigenous product of 15.5 millimeters. These are some of the applications, sir. So now I will give the main to my colleague, Mr. Varun Thareja. He will speak on the composite buildings.
Hello, sir. We are currently making the composite building, the buildings with composite construction, in which what we are doing is we are encasing the steel column with concrete. So there are basically two components, composite columns and steel beams with composite floor slabs, through which we can make the composite buildings. The another component is the lateral load resisting system, in which shear wall will be in RCC and the bracing will be in steel. These are the structural systems, sir. I'll show you the small video for better understanding of the product.
Save building professionals time and money. With no backpropping required, SpeedFloor reduces construction time, enabling access up to 3 weeks earlier. Unique cold-formed steel joists maintain strength and integrity while reducing slab thickness, craneage and material costs. SpeedFloor's fully engineered system is a proven performer in all types of construction. Joists are delivered in bundles, craned onto the primary structure and manually moved into position. Lock bars are installed to hold the joists in position. Form ply is then installed. Steel reinforcement is laid, and the concrete is poured. 3 days later, the form ply and lock bars are removed and the floor is complete. Being up to 50% lighter than other slab systems, SpeedFloor is ideal for building extensions. It has excellent spanning capabilities and the versatility to run services through the pre-punched holes. Suitable for all types of construction, it is ideal for housing, apartments, car parks, commercial and office complexes. With over 20 years supporting the construction industry, SpeedFloor represents the smarter, greener, innovative choice, saving time and money. SpeedFloor. Lighter, faster, easier.
I'll show you another detailed video of approximately 5 minutes.
The SpeedFloor suspended concrete floor system is a unique innovation in the building industry. The system's been developed combining modern techniques and roll-forming technology to produce a fast-to-install concrete steel composite floor. For an equivalent span, SpeedFloor uses less concrete and less steel than any other suspended concrete floor system. It's easy to install, it needs no propping, and in most cases, light enough to be manhandled into place.
It was developed about 12 years ago because we needed a product that was going to be quick and easy to install without having to rely on props. We had to start from scratch because there is no particular product worldwide that is similar to SpeedFloor. So we had to start off by developing quite a few profiles, and from then we went to a university and we had to test the product to point of destruction.
The joist is manufactured from pre-galvanized high-tensile steel in a single pass roll former, where it's roll-formed, punched, pressed and slotted to a high degree of accuracy. After roll-forming, the ends are simply bolted to the joist. On site, the individually marked joists are placed on the support medium, where a shuttering system locks the joist into the exact and final position. The reinforcement is placed and the floor is ready for concrete. 3 days after the pour, the shutters are stripped, revealing a smooth, clean soffit.
This is the SpeedFloor system. Basically, it uses the steel joist with concrete topping over the top to make the composite system in the building. The heart of the system is a rolled, formed, galvanized, high tensile steel joist. These are the advantages. No propping is required, less erection time, requires less craneage, meets fire rating requirement, reduce foundation size because of the lighter section, can work parallelly in more than one floor at a time. This is the end result of the SpeedFloor. 3 days later, we can remove the system and the services can pass through the pre-punch hole. These are the support mediums which enables the SpeedFloor system. One is steel RCC frame structure, masonry wall, precast concrete frames, light gauge steel frames, timber frames. In all type of construction, it can be used. This is the difference between conventional and SpeedFloor system. Conventional is difficult to install. It is simple to install because no propping is required. High risk of accident is there in this low risk, time consuming process. The conventional system, this is the fast process. After 3 days, you can remove the shuttering, means the lock bar. The services will start only after de-shuttering. In this, you can start your services immediately. These are the test certificate, which concludes the system is safe in strength, and the maximum deflection is within the allowable limits. This product is also in CPWD DSR. This is our design capabilities. We are using ETABS, STAD and TECLA. ETABS is basically for composite construction, to design the composite columns and beams. This is the fabricated structure steel. We are using 550 and 450 grade plates and universal beam sections to reduce the quantity of steel due to usage of higher grades. This is our manufacturing facility in Punjipatra, Angul and Raigad. Monthly we are producing about 22,000 metric ton per month. This is our manufacturing capabilities. All machines are CNC operated, automated machines for cutting, welding and drilling, short blasting, painting. CNC plasma cutting machine is also there. This is our quality assurance certificates. This is the benefit of using composite construction. Efficient construction, most effective utilization of concrete in compression and steel in tension. This is earthquake resistant. Floor carpet area is, you can say, if in RCC structure, the column size is 1 meter by 1 meter. In this, you will get 600 by 600 mm. So you will get the floor carpet area more. The completion time is faster, 7 days cycle you can achieve. Superior quality control, sustainability is higher, dead weight of the structure is low because of the light sections, and the revenues you will get early because you can complete the structure in early stage. These are the applications. These are the key building projects which we have done with composite construction. This is the project G plus 29 story, 4 towers in Noida. This we have completed in around 1 year. So the 7 days slab cycle we have achieved. This is another project in Noida, G plus 55 story. This is also in composite construction, column are composite. It is encased with RCC. This is AIMS Bilaspur project, which we have done in Himachal Pradesh. G plus 7 story structure, 4 blocks.
All these projects, you are supplying something. You are not done the
Erecting also, sir.
like AIMS Bilaspur is done by NBCC, further by NCC. You are supplying the composite.
We are supplying and erection also we have done, sir.
Like they were saying that you have done in that but you have not done.
No, we have supplied the material and the complete structure we have done. Like
ये कह रहे हैं कि erection भी कर रहे हैं.
Erection तो आप नहीं कर रहे हैं sir.
NBCC में मतलब this AIMS Bilaspur project we have done the erection.
अच्छा ये नहीं एक थोड़ा ये बताएं आप कंपोजिट कंस्ट्रक्शन कर रहे हैं और एक आपने बताया स्पीड फ्लोर.
Yes sir.
नाउ कंपोजिट कंस्ट्रक्शन बिना स्पीड फ्लोर के भी हो सकता है.
Yes yes.
ठीक है ना.
Yes.
Speed
Actually,
floors.
composite construction means columns are composite, beams are composite, and the slab system can also be composite.
Can or cannot be.
Yes, can or
A
cannot.
composite need not have that speed floor system.
Yes.
अब हम speed floor system की अगर बात करें तो उसमें आपकी वो rolled joist type की है जो कि exposed दिखाई देती है.
Yes, sir.
How do you say that is fire resistant?
So because we have tested it, we have the test certificate.
Tested
of
what?
2 hours.
Steel, exposed steel जो है.
Sir, if it is after 2 hours, if it is deflect, then the top portion of the speed floor, just a minute sir, the S portion is embedded into the concrete. So it will act as a reinforcement after it get deflected in case of fire.
No, वो तो slab के reinforce पर अभी तो rib भी है ना. Rib का क्या होगा? जो नीचे ये rib है इसकी strength चली गई तब क्या होगा?
So we are designing like that only, sir.
You are designing without this rib.
No,
I mean,
no,
this
we have
is
designed with the rib.
basically for construction purpose only.
Yes, yes, sir.
Otherwise, it has no strength that way. मतलब strength contribution to the structure.
Some loads we are transferring to the system, sir, and some.
इसकी डिजाइन आफ्टर फायर दिखा सकते हैं कोई आप?
सर्टिफिकेट वी हैव सर, वी कैन.
नहीं सर्टिफिकेट नहीं, मेरा सिंपल क्वेश्चन है किसी भी स्टील स्ट्रक्चर में, और जो यहाँ बहुत सारे लोग स्टील स्ट्रक्चर बनवा चुके हैं, If it is exposed, then we are asked to give it fire protection, some kind of fire protection,
Yes, yes.
which we are not giving in this case.
Yes.
So obviously this will, it is assumed, as you are saying, it
Act
is
as a
it is
shutter.
sacrificial.
Yes.
तो वो जरा बताइएगा कैसे डिजाइन हुआ.
सबका फायर प्रूफ पेंट कर रहे हैं.
हाँ नहीं वो नहीं कर रहे हैं ना भाई, दैट कॉस्ट होती है उसकी, फायर प्रूफ पेंट की कॉस्ट होती है.
We are using it as shuttering only.
That's what I want to see.
Yes.
हाँ.
So if it is
used as shuttering only, then it will mean that these should be assumed to be not there at all. ठीक है ना? भाई देखिए फायर के केस में भी उसको लोड तो सपोर्ट करना पड़ेगा ना. तो जिस दिन फायर हुई उस दिन ये मान लीजिए कि ये सब कुछ नहीं है, सिर्फ वो जो स्लैब है वो ही स्टैंड कर रहा है. तो देन दैट स्लैब शुड बी एबल टू स्टैंड. दैट इज व्हाट यू आर सेइंग ना. तो दिखाइएगा वो डिटेल हम जरा सीडीओ में चेक करेंगे कि ये ऐसा एक्चुअली है कि नहीं है.
दिस एस पोर्शन उसी के अंदर ही एम्बेड रहेगा.
वो सब मुझे पता है यार, डिजाइनर मैं भी हूँ.
Yes,
देव तो डिटेल हम देखते हैं ना.
Yes, yes, sir.
क्या आपकी डिजाइन
definitely give you, sir.
चलो आगे.
This is the installation procedure, sir. A speed floor can be pressed over the beams and then lock bar placed into the pre-punched hole. After 3 days, you can remove these lock bars. Plywood can be placed over the top of the members, then the mesh, and after that, remove a lock bar, the plywood will automatically come down. So.
इनको DSR में भी डाल दिया है, स्पीड फ्लोर DSR में पड़ा हुआ है. हमें इसको देखने की जरूरत है. स्टील स्ट्रक्चर का तो मेन प्रॉब्लम साला ये फायर प्रोटेक्शन.
This is another project, sir, Omax Chandni Chowk. This is also with composite construction. Windsor IT building, sir, 2 basement plus G plus 14. Fairmount Hotel, 7-star hotel, sir. This is also with composite construction.
कर ही सकते हैं. नो हम अच्छी चीज है.
M3M project in Gurgaon, sir, G plus 40. This is also with composite construction.
जापान में सारे कंपोजिट होते हैं, सारे कंपोजिट होते हैं. It's a good system, no problem.
Embassy Tech Village, G plus 9 stories, sir. This is also in composite. 12 buildings we have completed in 12 months, sir. Of approximately 15 lakh square feet. This is multi-level car parking, sir, G plus 10. This is also in composite. NICL Corporate Tower, NBCC, sir. This is also in composite. Raheja Mindspace, G plus 14, Hyderabad. This we have completed, sir. S2O IT Park, sir. This is also in composite and it has completed also, sir. Faculty Office, OPJGU, Sonipat. PM Museum, only the truss portion we have supplied in this project, sir. This is our key customer, sir. No.
Respected sirs, very good evening to all of you. It's indeed a matter of great pride and honor for me to find myself in such an august gathering and scholars like you. My name is Rohit Lamba and I head the marketing at Jindal Steel and Power. I would like to first extend my earnest gratitude for setting up this round table and also inviting us as a very valuable knowledge sharing platform. And I want to take personally this opportunity to impart some knowledge of whatever we have about steel today, rather than taking you to a very boring presentation of mine. That's not my intent, because I know you've had a very, very long day and you must have seen hundreds of presentations. So I will just use this platform to tell you something about steel. So in the summer of 2003, there was a case study presented at the Harvard Business School. And the case study was about the very infamous incident which happened in the Atlantic Ocean in 1912. And I'm sure you must have guessed it right. It was the so-called unsinkable ship Titanic. Fast forward, 9/11, a very infamous terrorist attack happened in the United States of America which shook the world. And I'm sure you must have seen the devastating footage on YouTube or media channels. When the incident of Titanic happened, that time we all know that science was not developed and there were constraints. But as technology and science developed, and when scientists and researchers went down to the bottom of the ocean 4 or 5 decades later after the incident happened, they extracted the piece of Titanic. And they were wondering that what has gone wrong? How could Titanic, the so-called unsinkable ship, sank on its maiden voyage? Much to our chagrin, they found that the piece of steel which they extracted from the bottom of the ocean, the steel used in Titanic had more than 3 times the prescribed limit of phosphorus in it. And I'll tell you why I'm sharing these examples with you. But before I do that, I would like to again invite your attention to the 9/11 attacks which happened in the United States. Twin Towers, World Trade Center was 85% steel, 10% concrete, and only 5% glass. That even left the scientists quite perplexed that how did the buildings, Twin Towers, just melted like and crumbled down like a house of cards within fraction of seconds? They were bewildered. Again, they started doing research. And the white paper, which was submitted to the Harvard University, they found that the sulfur levels used in the steel in the World Trade Center exceeded 2.5 times of the prescribed limit. So what am I really wanting to share with you is that if the phosphorus level exceeds more than the prescribed limit in steel, during extreme cold temperature, the steel will become brittle and it will break. And this is what precisely happened in 1912 when the temperature was hovering about sub-0 degrees in Atlantic Ocean. The ship collided with the iceberg and it couldn't withstand the impact and hence gave way. That's debatable, sir. It happened in 1912, so none of the concerned officers are also alive at this point in time, but these are prescribed and established studies which have been submitted. And in the World Trade Center, they found since the sulfur, if it exceeds the prescribed limit, during extremely hot temperature, the steel will melt. And this is precisely what you can even see today in the YouTube video, that how the buildings are crumbling down. So my whole idea to participate in such a group of privileged and knowledgeable engineers like you was only to disseminate this information. We love our country, but we also know that we do not have a zero tolerance policy for anything which is substandard in quality. And I'm not limited to steel. Anything, today, the milk which we consume.
Standard to this level. If we have fixed a standard, if we had not fixed a standard and we were ignorant about all these things, this is possible in 1912. Nobody, fix the standard for sulfur, that can be understood. But in World Tower, the phosphorus limits exceeded 2.5 times
The sulfur levels, sir. The sulfur levels.
Let that story go. आप आगे बढ़ो यार जल्दी. मतलब वरना ये point is देखो there are many points. अब आप एक तो क्या है, आप आज क्वालिटी कंट्रोल नहीं चेक कर सकते. दूसरी बात, उस समय स्टैंडर्ड क्या थे, आज स्टैंडर्ड क्या थे, वो डिफरेंट हैं. तो कहाँ किस चक्कर पड़, सुनो कहानी, आगे बढ़ो, चलो यार जल्दी चलो.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
और तीसरी बात और बता दूं, जिस टेम्परेचर पे वो एविएशन फ्यूल जल रहा था ना, फॉस्फोरस और नो फॉस्फोरस, इट विल कोलैप्स. चलिए
जी सर.
चलिए
Yeah,
आगे.
it was almost 12 degrees centigrade.
चलिए.
So the point, respected sirs, which I want to make is that today we do not have, as a nation, we do not have a zero tolerance policy for anything which is substandard. Not limited to steel. It could be the milk which we drink every day in our morning, the fruits, the vegetables. We find all sorts of adultery in the products which we consume. And I'm repeating myself, not limited to steel. But since this convention, this dialogue is only relevant to steel here, I will concentrate and focus there.
कितना टाइम हो गया भैया, थोड़ा जल्दी करो यार.
So,
अभी 2 और.
I will just take last 2 minutes.
Please, हाँ, please.
So,
नहीं, और है.
we manufacture
और क्या?
world-class Jindal Panther rebars. We just want to solicit all the support from your end, sir. Is that what is happening is that Jindal Panther has a legacy. We have set up a BOF route, we are an ISP. But what is happening, there are a plethora of Jindal brands floating in the market today, which enjoy and end up enjoying the legacy of Jindal, the house of Jindal, which is synonymous with steel. So what is happening is that the end consumer doesn't know much. And assuming that they are buying the original Jindal Panther, they are buying Jindal makes which are dime a dozen in the market today. So we just wanted to solicit this, your earnest support and your cooperation from your end, that if you could, you are the harbingers of a change in society, you are learned people, you are scholars, you've worked very hard through your lives. I think if through you this information gets carried to end consumer, as a company we are doing whatever to educate our customer also. But I think you are the key protagonist to take this forward, and we look forward to your help and support. I am open for any questions, sir. Thank you so much.
हाँ, ठीक.
Sir,
So you have come on 550 also.
Yes, sir. We manufacture Jindal Panther 550D grade. And we also manufacture...
नहीं, वो कह रहे थे उस पर्टिकुलर डाया के लिए. अच्छा, एक ही साथी हैं वो.
We are together only, sir.
He was mentioning about higher dia, 50 mm dia bar which he had introduced. उसकी बात कर रहे हैं कि 45 mm, 50 mm introduced.
We have introduced 50 mm dia, sir, for the first time in India. That is manufactured only in 500D grade right now. But otherwise, from 8 to 40, we manufacture 550D grade, sir.
Sir, we
made 2 orders. It's on a special request. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's available.
We manufacture 600 550D, and we are also exporting to Australia. Then we have got the license for Australian ACRS, Singapore, Hong Kong, and UK CARES. So all these we are accredited with export also.
We are happy to take any questions from you, sir. If you may have any questions, you can ask us. जी sir.
माइक ऑन कर लो. क्या वो हो नहीं रहा? कैसा कैसे? ठीक है. क्या चक्कर है?
अभी करें.
करो अभी करो. क्या 2 माइक ऑन है नजर शायद इसलिए. हाँ, अब करो.
ये CRS स्टील का मैक्सिमम स्ट्रेंथ क्या है आपका?
500D CRS, 550D CRS.
550 अभी बनाने लगे?
यस सर.
दूसरा था कि क्या मैकेनिज्म है जो प्रोटेक्ट करता है कोरोजन से?
सर, इसमें कॉपर का एक्स्ट्रा एडिशन रहता है अलॉइंग एलिमेंट्स में, एंड देयर इज ए मिनिमम परसेंटेज ऑफ कॉपर, क्रोम, फॉस्फोरस एंड एलिमेंट्स. 4 एलिमेंट्स है जिसका मिनिमम 0.4% होना चाहिए.
उसके जो प्रोटेक्टिव लेयर बनती है, मैकेनिज्म क्या है, केमिकल कंपोजिशन क्या है?
ये सर इसमें प्रोटेक्टिव लेयर है, एक पेट्रोटो फॉर्मेशन जो हम लोग बोलते हैं वो फॉर्म होता है, और जो रिएक्शंस है सरफेस लेयर में, जैसे हम लोग CRS बोलते हैं, और जिंक कोटेड भी आता है गैल्वेनाइजिंग में. तो ये
जिंक कोटिंग का नहीं बोल रहे, जो थोड़े दिन एक्सपोजर के बाद उसके ऊपर रस्ट की तरह फॉर्मेशन बन जाती है, वो प्रोटेक्टिव लेयर है या रस्ट है?
हाँ, प्रोटेक्टिव लेयर ही है सर. ये एक तो CRS का है जो करोजन को रेट को कम करता है. जैसे मान लीजिए जो नॉर्मल TMT है, इससे 10% आपका रेट को रिटार्ड करेगा CRS में.
तो लाइफ कितनी बढ़ जाएगी एक्सपेक्टेशन?
सर नॉर्मल CRS अगर देखें तो इसका लाइफ 100 ईयर्स लाइफ साइकिल होना चाहिए CRS का। और अभी हम लोग सर
आजकल तो एक्सेलरेटेड कोरोजन टेस्ट हो जाते हैं, कहाँ कराईगुड़ी या कहाँ वहाँ पर होता है ना।
हाँ
तो
सर।
कराया नहीं हम लोगों ने टेस्ट इसको।
ये भी हम लोग IIT बॉम्बे में कराए थे सर, ये वाला पहले किया हुआ है, करीब 5 ईयर्स बिफोर, 5-6 साल पहले किए थे। और अभी हम लोग BIS के अंदर में कंटिन्यूस गैल्वेनाइज्ड रिबार्स के भी अभी टेक्नोलॉजी डिस्कस हो रहा है। दैट विल बी ए न्यू कोड कमिंग अप, और इसमें जिंक का कोटिंग लगेगा।
वो तो छोड़ दीजिए, अभी ये बात CRS की कर
अभी
रहे हैं।
CRS का
CRS की टेस्टिंग नहीं हुई है।
होता है सर, है।
क्या वो बता, क्या उसका रिजल्ट निकला?
इसका सर एक ग्राफ बनता है जिसमें CRI इंडेक्स रहता है, तो करोजन रेट का रिड्यूस कितना होता है वो परसेंटेज
कितना रिड्यूस हुआ उसमें?
10 टाइम्स इसका रिडक्शन रहता है सर। 10% मतलब जो करोजन रेट नॉर्मल CRS का है और इसमें 10 टाइम्स का ये रहेगा। हाँ 10 टाइम्स
मतलब ओरिजिनल का 10% हो जाता है, 1/10 हो जाता है।
नहीं सर, जैसे लाइफ अगर मान लीजिए मेरा करोजन रेट है, दो दिन के अंदर 72 आवर्स का जो साइकिल रहता है,
हाँ।
तो उसमें आपका 10 टाइम्स वो रिटार्ड होगा, जो करोजन का रेट
1/10 हो जाएगा ना।
1, यस सर। यस सर, इसमें BIS का तो नॉर्म्स दिया हुआ है, दैट इज डिफाइंड बेस्ड ऑन द इक्विवेलेंट इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड में। यस BIS में है सर, इसमें दिया हुआ है इंटरनेशनल का। यस एग्जिस्टिंग में नॉट CRS सर, नॉर्मल जो बार से है, हाँ इसमें तो नहीं है। एक स्टैंडर्ड है सर, वो CGR बार के लिए गैल्वेनाइजिंग का है, CRS का ऐसा अलग से नहीं है।
Last is, sir, I just want to inform, basically as far as sulfur he was explaining, sir. In fact, the BIS code specifies sulfur 0.035, but when we are doing the narrow stadium, that time specification by the German standard was 0.005 maximum, sir. And that was reduced considering all these factors, sir. So, and we have to go for the specialized production for this. So, and another thing which they do even in BIS also, as the thickness of the plate goes up, the yield strength reduces, sir. But there the requirement of, irrespective of the plate thickness, the minimum yield strength should be 350. So that we have to maintain. For that, the sulfur content, control of the sulfur content is very, very important, sir. That's why it has been done, sir. Okay.
सर ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, हॉट शॉर्टनेस और कोल्ड शॉर्टनेस जो इन्होंने लांबा जी ने बोला, टेक्निकल टर्म में वी कॉल इट एज ए हॉट शॉर्टनेस इन केस ऑफ हाई सल्फर एंड कोल्ड शॉर्टनेस इन केस ऑफ हाई फास्फोरस, जो कि इम्पैक्ट वैल्यू के लिए और इसमें रहता है। क्योंकि इसमें जैसे फास्फोरस आपका बढ़ेगा तो ये मेल्टिंग पॉइंट ऑफ फास्फोरस इज वेरी लो, तो फेरस सल्फाइड दिस डिपॉजिट्स इन द ग्रेन बाउंड्रीज ऑफ द स्टील। अगर हम टेक्नोलॉजी टर्म्स में देखें, जो ग्रेन साइज होते हैं रोलिंग के बाद में डिफरेंट ग्रेन साइज बनते हैं, तो ये पूरा जो सल्फर है उसका सेग्रीगेशन ग्रेन बाउंड्रीज में हो जाता है। और टेम्परेचर जैसे बढ़ेगा तो 600-700 डिग्री में दे स्टार्ट्स मेल्टिंग, तो क्रीप अफेक्ट आ जाता है, क्रीप रेसिस्टेंट नहीं हो पाता, एंड टेम्परेचर बढ़ने से वो क्रिपल अफेक्ट आता है। दैट इज वाई वी कॉल इट एज ए हॉट शॉर्टनेस, जो कि सल्फर जो इंटीग्रेटेड स्टील प्लांट्स होते हैं, हमारे जो BIS में नॉर्म्स है, वी हैव टू फॉलो ऑल दी अदर मैन्युफैक्चरर्स ऑल्सो। आपका इंडक्शन फर्नेस हो गया और इलेक्ट्रिक आर्क फर्नेस रूट है, बेसिक ऑक्सीजन फर्नेस रूट है, सबको एक साथ ये किया गया है। बट ऐसे प्राइमरी प्रोड्यूसर्स व्हेन वी सप्लाई द प्रोडक्ट्स, हमारा जो सल्फर पर फॉस्फोरस है इट इज कमिंग वेरी लो बिकॉज ऑफ द ब्लास्ट फर्नेस रूट एंड द इलेक्ट्रिक आर्क फर्नेस रूट। यही एक समेशन है कि बेटर क्वालिटी ऑफ स्टील इज प्रोड्यूस्ड थ्रू द प्राइमरी प्रोड्यूसर, सर।
ओके, धन्यवाद सर।
थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
अगली प्रेजेंटेशन के लिए मैं स्केलेटन कंसल्टेंट्स प्राइवेट लिमिटेड से डॉक्टर अभय गुप्ता जी को आमंत्रित करती हूँ। डॉक्टर अभय गुप्ता जी, स्केलेटन कंसल्टेंट्स प्राइवेट लिमिटेड। ये इनोवेटिव टेक्नोलॉजी यूज्ड इन कंस्ट्रक्शन इंडस्ट्री, लाइट गेज स्टील स्ट्रक्चरल सिस्टम्स एंड प्री इंजीनियर्ड स्टील स्ट्रक्चरल सिस्टम पर प्रस्तुति देंगे।
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Abhay Gupta. I'm not here representing any manufacturer, but on behalf of Mitsumi Housing, we are structural consultants for some of their projects. And some of the projects which have been described here, mentioned here, about the lighthouse projects under PMAY. So out of 6 lighthouse projects in the country, 3 are in the concrete and 3 are in the steel. So 3 in concrete are Rajkot, Ranchi and Chennai, and 3 in steel are Indore, Lucknow and Agartala. We are consultants for all those 3 steel projects. Structural engineering we are doing. And in one of them we are using this LGFS technology. My background, I'm a structural consultant, independent, running my own organization from Noida, Indore and Bangalore. Earlier I had been in teaching, so just please excuse me if there is any time you feel that I have gone into that classroom mode. But I'll take care, as sir has already indicated with the earlier one, that let's move fast, and madam has also instructed. So I'll try to give the things in brief, though all these presentations are already with you, and we'll be happy to interact in future also for all these things. LGFS per se is nothing but very simple concept we all know. I hope all of you are very well aware with the term light gauge framed system. Many people say LGCS, light gauge cold form systems. It is something like a normal piece of paper. If I hold it like this, it is not capable of holding any load like this. But the moment I fold it like this and I try to put this pen drive, is a bit heavier, but I can hold some weight. So the entire presentation, entire discussion is just focused on this. When we say light gauge, means the thin material, and here it is steel. So we are using light gauge thin steel strips, folding them using a cold form technique. The other kind of the steel sections, ISMBs and what all my dear friends from Jindal have described, they are all hot rolled sections. We are all very well aware of them. But when we do the cold form process on the light gauge thin structures, whatever shape, because of the bending, it adds to the stiffness of that particular section. When that is harnessed or used in the structural elements, that forms a system or a wall or a floor or a joist or even column sometime that forms an element which very effectively we have been using. The advantage out of the entire thing is it is lightweight, it is easily assemblable, and it is durable. All these things are there. So it is being widely used. How? I'll just show you. My client Mitsumi Housing, on behalf of which I am telling, I'll just show some slides about them. Largest and all those things. They have done so many of projects of various natures and type. They got certifications. All of you must be aware of the Mitsumi, but if not, then Mitsumi Housing is a company based out of Ahmedabad, and they are doing a lot of good work. Light gauge steel frame is not only about manufacturing the steel profile, it's a complete housing solution technology. It is being used worldwide. In India now we are using at a large scale also. Mostly the zinc alum or galvanized sheets with the galvanization of 250, 275 GSM, it is used. High strength material is there. 350 MPa to 550 MPa is there for those things. The design standard in this country, we are having IS 801, but unfortunately it has not been updated since long. Now the draft is under consideration. Some of us must be in the BIS committee somewhere and must be aware that IS 801 is under revision, and soon it will be released for the wide circulation and all that. So then we will have the provisions of the latest international practices. As of now, we are using either American Institute provisions or Australia New Zealand standards for the design of the cold form sections. This is the entire process. One very good thing with the light gauge systems is that there are machines, there are complete you can say manufacturing solutions wherein CNC compatible interface is there, where when the drawing of an architectural layout with the structural elements identified is fed into that, the entire design using the standard sections, either C shape, I'll show you, or channel shapes with the lips and all that, is designed inside and manufactured according to the dimensions of the entire house. Means, to give you a brief idea, a house of about 800 to 1000 square feet, single story, can be completely manufactured from that machine in about 2 weeks' time. Entire material can be manufactured, ready to be assembled on site. That is the advantage of that particular thing. Design and analysis, that is the first thing. Then the second one which you see here, this one is the machine which produces like this the components which are then assembled at site, and then assembly is done, and then on both the sides of this framing, which is laterally stiff, braced together for the lateral and gravity forces, and then on both sides some kind of board is placed. There are various types of boards available, and it's a choice depending on the geography, it's a choice depending on the function, it's a choice depending on the internal environment needed, thermal acoustics and heat insulation, that you can use the different type of boards. And inside cavity is then filled with either foam concrete or rock wool or gloss wool insulation kind of material to achieve the desired properties. It is there. We have been using this particular thing in schools also, in residential houses also, in high-rise buildings also. I'll show you. As far as comparison is concerned, there is a saving in the carpet area as compared to the conventional structure. The fiber cement boards and glass wools have lower thermal conductivity, so that is the advantage. Acoustic properties are better. Then superstructure load calculation, the load saving, that is one of the major benefit as against the conventional clay brick. The weight is almost 1/10. As against the AAC blocks, the weight, the dead weight of the structure reduces to about 1/4. And that in a geography like seismic zone 4 or 3 or 4 or 5, we can very well estimate the saving on the earthquake forces. Seismic forces are significantly reduced, and in turn we get the economy on the foundation and the whole structure. So then there is no water requirement as against the concrete structure. There is a lot of curing and other things required in concrete structure. So that is not required. There is a fast track working is there. Clean site, that is one of the big advantage, that the entire construction site is neat, clean, hassle free. It's well organized, not as we all see, we all pass through the city and we see those cumberness or the inconveniences due to the on-site construction going on. So that is not there. Mobility and portability is there. You can, entire house you can shift from one place to other. If suppose after 10 years you don't want to be there, you can pack up the whole thing and shift it to other place. That is the advantage with any kind of the off-site construction, any kind of the pre-engineered system. Certainly not with the concrete because they are heavy in weight, but all kind of steel construction are having that advantage. Life cycle cost, certainly life cycle cost of any steel construction is cheaper, any. Though initial cost is much more, about 20% more you have to spend on that, but ultimately it fetches you back sometimes the equal amount of the money which you have invested. Those who have invested or constructed a building 10 years back in steel, probably if they sell that steel, they will get that price back. So that is the advantage of the steel. Overall life of a structure, it is better. Steel will always have a better life. Steel will have a reliable life anytime. Concrete, if 10 people make concrete with the same ingredients, same place, same environment, same water, same quality control, they will get 10 different strength or characteristics of the concrete. But in steel, we can't play with the characteristics of the steel. Only the JSPL people, means my good friends, manufacturer only can play with the properties. We as user can't do anything wrong with the steel. So we are sure to get a consistent material and a good quality product, where when we say design life is 60 years, it is sure to have 100 years. While on the concrete, when we say 60 years, after 30 years, we all know the fate of the concrete because of many reasons. So these are the scope of the LGFS. You can make almost everything. up to 3-4 floors, you can directly have the load-bearing wall construction using the LGFS straight away. But beyond that, we have used in 15-floor buildings. India's largest residential complex in Jammu, Vidhata Nagar, we did the designing where the hot rolled steel was the main frame, and all the wall panels were, infill walls were all LGFS wall panels. In JSPL Angul plant itself, we have made 11 buildings of ground plus 11 height, and all have the infill LGFS walls. So very fast construction. By the time your HR frame goes up, parallelly you can have the wall assemblies done of the same size and erect them, lift them, put on the site, put the boards and all that. So parallel working is possible with a very fast construction. Yes, sir. It is there, sir, on the right side. Designer means? Sir, ground plus 3 तो पूरे JSPL के पूंजीपत्रा रायगढ़. Sir, you can brace it very well. The advantage, you see, these are the ground plus 3. Up to 4 story you can have the load bearing. Nowadays even better machines have come. Earlier we used to have the 90 and 110 mm C sections only. Those machines, the Scottsdale machine and the frame cut machine. But now there are machines which can produce 150 mm sections and with even 2 mm thickness. So they are even able to replace the hot rolled built up sections. नहीं सर, ये अमरनाथ का नहीं, ये तो हाँ नहीं, this is not अमरनाथ. I don't remember exactly the location कहीं का, but I think this is in South Kerala में है ये. Kerala Life Mission के प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हैं बहुत सारे ground plus 3, they are all LGFS. So it's like this is the way it is finished and that's the way the structure is there. So once done completely, properly sealed joints with the tape and all that, we are not able to identify whether inside is steel or what. You get the exact look. The only disadvantage here, in India, we have a practice, the Indians have a practice to nail the walls. As Mr. Ratan Singh ji was saying, nailing is possible. Here, nailing is not possible anywhere. If you want to hang something, you have to have a predetermined location where there are vertical members and the horizontal main frame members. At those places only.
ये infill wall, external wall भी जो है,
yes,
वो है.
Complete external.
किस material की है इस particular case में अगर कहें
Sir,
तो?
there are
cement board लगा रहे हैं.
There are double layer of the boards is there. And external side there is a vapor barrier membrane. External side. We did YMCA school at Nizamuddin, upper 2 floors. We did
vapor barrier membrane को कैसी मतलब? What is that vapor barrier membrane?
That's a synthetic material mesh over which they have done the external rendering also. Even they have put tiles over that.
हाँ नहीं tiles वगैरह सब लगा दिए तो फिर तो बात वही हो गई ना. अभी तो हम कहते हैं कि नहीं इसको फटाफट कर सकते हैं, parallel में कर सकते हैं.
Architecturally they wanted to have some aesthetics, otherwise directly
cracks भी आ जाते हैं साहब. cracks भी आ जाते हैं. moisture variation में cracks आते हैं. इसलिए protection तो चाहिए एक layer और.
Crack आते हैं
तो इसलिए वो सीधे
because of the boards crack आते हैं, but if there are gypsum boards which get cracked.
Cement boards also.
Cement fiber board also gets cracked. So we have to put proper taping on all the joints.
वो भी कर चुके हैं. Crack आते हैं. और जब बात करते हैं उनकी तब वो आपको कोड में दिखाते हैं कि उसमें 6% मॉइस्चर वेरिएशन अलाउड है सीमेंट बोर्ड में. तब वो सर्दी और गर्मी और बरसात में क्रैक आ जाता है.
एक्चुअली
मैं प्रश्न मुझे तो मालूम ही है जवाब, मैं इन लोगों के लिए बता रहा हूँ कि कहा कुछ जाता है और होता कुछ और है. समझना चाहिए.
बोर्ड्स आर द थिंग वेयर मोर डेवलपमेंट इज नीडेड. सो व्हाट वी आर डूइंग,
उसको प्रोटेक्ट करना पड़ता है बेसिकली आउटर वाले को.
बिल्कुल ठीक है.
चलिए
प्रोटेक्ट करना पड़ता है. सो दिस केरला लाइफ मिशन project only. This is another project, that is the Agartala Tripura, which are ground plus 6 under PMAY, 1040 flats which are there. So HR frame and inside is completely infill wall is all LGFS with the boards. Now here in this project they are not using directly the cement fiber board, but Mitsumi has developed a core which is there used in this. They are using the foam concrete inside filled. So there that problem of crack doesn't arise.
Foam concrete में भी
several other projects which they have done. And this is about the general. I'll take some time more and I'll show you now the technical part of this. Okay. Some of the advantages which I have already described. Housing demand versus supply, because we need the rapid mass housing, so something has to be done. We have to deviate from the traditional business, the way we make the houses, and probably there is a big role.
सर ऑफ कर रखे हो ना, जैसे हमने भी तो अपना कैमरा वो कर देते हैं ना, ये ऑफ कर दो अपना, तो उन सब
Please keep your mics muted.
माइक ऑफ कर लें, ऑनलाइन.
So the gap between demand and supply in housing will certainly need some of these alternate methods, some of these new technologies where we are discussing since morning and just getting some very good inputs on that. Technically, strength to weight ratio is high, lightweight, higher quality, recyclable, expansion and relocation is easy, lower construction costs, easy transportation handling, quick and easy construction, and no formwork is required. The entire construction can be with the LGFS components without any formworks. Components are like one main frame is there, wall panels for wall panels, then wall connections are there, wall openings are there, claddings, flooring system and roof system. These are the developments. On the right side what you see are the available C and Z sections which are connected together. On the left side what you see, there are even new sections which are being developed. If I show you this one, pointer है क्या?
पॉइंटर बना देता हूँ.
अच्छा. Sir, good. Thank you. So, if you see this section, this sigma kind of things, these are the additional new cold form sections with additional ribs in the web. The web needs to be stiffened. There is a definite ratio of B by T beyond which the strength loss is there. So just to avoid that, these new developments are also there going on, and probably they will take up the next generation of the cold form sections. Some more of the components and the way they are made like this. This process we have already seen. I'll show you a video also on that. We have already discussed these things. This is the way. Frame and the house. Finished. Actual photograph. Mass housing, all ground plus 3. This is some basic information about the cold form steel. And I'll show you one very interesting thing in that. When the machine produces section, these indentations, these holes, punches, service holes, they are all predetermined, pre-done in the machine. The machine which produces the section, all these are there. And with the part mark. So when the component comes out, you just need to identify the part mark and assemble them on site. So 2 weeks of production here and about 4 weeks of the assembly on the site. Generally 6 weeks for a house of about say 700-800 square foot is good enough for the main frame structure. Then cladding etc. goes on in parallel. Like this, everything comes down directly. And then the assembly of the roof truss, of the floor joist, service holes and everything. Just the conceptual things when we initially do that. That was this presentation is not customized for this audience. I have this for some other platforms also. So some of the slides here may not really be. But this can sustain strong wind forces and seismic forces. There are international codes, US codes, then Canadian codes are there, New Zealand, Australian codes are there, and we have to use currently those things only. IS 801 is not that updated right now, but we have some of the provisions there. Dimension wise, we can have these clear spans, truss spans up to 20 meters we can use. Like in the hill area, a lot of construction is being done using these kind of things. Being lightweight, they sustain the seismic forces also. Process, how the construction goes on, like this. In 9 days you can complete the house like this. They say this is some European practice, because they are much more practiced on these things. In India, if you want to adopt this, maybe this 9 becomes 36 days, that's all. Soon we will be equipped with all the latest things in this also. 150 mm and 89 mm, both the sizes are available, and you can see the core wall details where gypsum boards on either side, then rock wool insulation, and then cement board, etc. on the inside. This is the general construction. You can have 204 thick wall, 143 wall, depending on the fire resistance and other parameters required. We have been able to achieve 2 hours of fire rating also with this kind of the construction. This is a table with different constructions, how much is the fire rating and how much acoustic insulation would be achieved, it is described here. So up to 270 minutes fire rating can be achieved with some different kind of the filling and all that. It's well documented, tested and everything. Like, pardon sir? One is this was not done in India, but in India we are getting it done at CBRI Roorkee, and for steel thing, the entire system, not the individual member, with complete wall. Yes, yes, with the walls.
Is it more than 2 hours?
It is more than 2.
Do we have some test certificate? Do you need that?
I'll ask them to provide. Yeah, they will give. It is there. Then how the staircases are made like this, assembled and everything, various core things. This is how is the details of the structure inside. With the EPS polystyrene insulation inside, you get increased fire resistance and acoustics and all that. One very important data, some of the people they say, this is a very common site for an RCC construction, very common site. After 12 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, we see this very regularly happening, particularly in the stilt and all that. But with the steel, the corrosion, if you look at the bold statement below, estimated life expectancy based on the average mass loss using nominal coating weights range from 280 to over 1000 years, with an average of 611 years for all samples at all locations. This is a study, not in India, but this data is available, that due to corrosion, the loss of the mass in a steel section is in this range. So we need not bother much about, unless and until aesthetics is the question, corrosion loss is not significantly reducing the strength, unless and until we continuously remove the rust, then again new rust is formed like that. So exposed steel will survive long because of that. About 1/10 of the traditional concrete construction. So this is how we do in the software, how we get all the details of the connections, different component. This is a school rooftop structure we did, existing school, and then constructed another structure on the rooftop. This was the entire thing, complete modeled once. Then a multi-purpose hall. These are all Indian projects and done by us only in the design side, all of them. Just for the, ये क्लिक होगी यहाँ से, कहाँ चले गए हो? हाँ, yes. One minute, sir. Yeah. This will just explain step-by-step process of the construction. 1 minute 17 seconds. sheet strip going into the machine, and it comes out like this. FrameKit is one company, but there are 3-4 such companies which supply. There's one more small one, another 1 minute. This is about the one typical wall panel detail. Is it playing? A second. नहीं रहने दीजिए, ठीक है, रहने दीजिए, हाँ छोड़ दीजिए, हाँ हाँ मैं भी आपको I'll do that.
धन्यवाद सर.
So there are some references which probably can be done, and if there is anything, yeah, I'll do that. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you sir.
एक ये बताएं, ये मित्सुमी हाउसिंग या जो भी नाम है, ये हिंदुस्तानी कंपनी है?
हाँ, अहमदाबाद.
और नाम जो जापानी रखा है?
नहीं सर, वो जापानी नहीं है, वो मित्सुमी उनके फैमिली के कुछ 2 लोगों के मितेश एंड सुमित समथिंग लाइक दैट.
वाह क्या बात, ये गुजरात में ही हो सकता है. वाह.
I also got confused in the beginning.
Wonderful,
I
wonderful.
was very happy that I am working with a Japanese company.
अति सुंदर, अति सुंदर. वंडरफुल, वंडरफुल. मतलब मित्सुमी कॉर्पोरेशन का जापान का.
I was also under that impression initially when I got the order.
ठीक है, बहुत बढ़िया.
पर बाद में मैंने पूछा उनसे.
राइट साहब, थैंक यू.
थैंक यू वेरी मच साहब. आगे बढ़ते हैं. अगले प्रेजेंटेशन के लिए मैं श्री विकास गुप्ता, चीफ इंजीनियर CPWD को आमंत्रित करती हूँ. ये स्पेशलाइज्ड सर्विसेज विद न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी एट न्यू पार्लियामेंट बिल्डिंग पर प्रस्तुति देंगे.
मैडम कॉपी कैसे हो गई? कॉपी कर लीजिए आप, ये वाला फोल्डर कॉपी कर लीजिए ना. जी सर, मैं हाँ उसको कर लीजिए, मुझे दे दीजिएगा फिर पेन ड्राइव में. मैं अभी कर लीजिए. हाँ इस पे है, ये अब मुझे डालना पड़ेगा. जी मैं हटा देता हूँ. 5 मिनट में कर दें. ठीक है, डोंट वरी, विल डू इट. अच्छा तुम्हारे पास डाल दो, डाल दो. सर 5-10 मिनट में करना है.
यही वाली.
बस बस बस. ये हाँ ये वाला.
Good afternoon, everyone. This presentation is about electrical and mechanical services at New Parliament Building. Electrical and mechanical services at New Parliament Building. This is the flow of presentation.
माइक कैच नहीं कर रहा है आपकी. हम तो सुन ले रहे हैं, बाकी लोगों को नहीं सुना. Just speak in the mic. Speak into the mic.
This is the flow of presentation. Next, please. First is a brief of electrical system of New Parliament Building. So this is the contents. इसमें एक चीज़ मैं बताना चाहूँगा, redundancy of power. Parliament being a very important building, इसमें redundancy हम लोगों ने ट्रांसफार्मर से लोड तक पूरी redundancy अवेलेबल है. कोई भी इक्विपमेंट, कोई भी केबल अगर खराब हो गया तो another cable is available for that. Next, please. These are the components of substation, HT side and LT side. So this is just the details of that. These are the codes and standards which have been followed. ECBC, latest ECBC standard have been followed as far as efficiency is concerned. And BIS, National Building Code, everything has followed in letter and spirit. This is the plan of new Parliament building. These two buildings, two sides of this main triangular building, these are for the utility and services. So all dry and wet services, including electrical and mechanical services, are situated here. So substation is situated
वो कंप्यूटर वाले
here
लड़के को
in this.
बुलाओ, उसको कर्सर ऑन करा लो ना यार, आप बता यहाँ वहाँ ऐसे हाथ से बता रहे हो कि वो कर्सर ऑन करो जरा, लेजर पॉइंटर
वो दे दे.
हाँ
Okay, okay.
अब बताओ कहाँ क्या है.
सर ये दोनों यूटिलिटी बिल्डिंग है, ये और दूसरी वाले देखो ये दोनों बिल्डिंग. तो इस साइड में जो नीचे वाली साइड है, इसमें एयर कंडीशनिंग प्लांट, सब स्टेशन, ये सब सर्विसेज सिचुएटेड है. और दूसरे वाले में एसटीपी, एक और एसी प्लांट जो पुरानी पार्लियामेंट बिल्डिंग के लिए होगा, और भी जितनी भी वेट सर्विसेज हैं, फायर प्लांट एटसेट्रा, एवरीथिंग इज सिचुएटेड देयर. Next.
This substation in South Utility caters for both Parliament, old and new. So we have 4 transformers over there for new Parliament and three for old Parliament. This is DG set position.
DG सेट चूंकि पार्लियामेंट में बेसमेंट परमिटेड नहीं था और यूटिलिटी की जगह भी लिमिटेड थी, तो DG सेट को पार्लियामेंट के बाहर अक्रॉस द रोड एक प्लॉट है, वहां पे लगाए गए हैं. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. This is the electrical distributions. This has been divided into nine zones. This parliament is a 4-floor building, lower ground floor, upper ground floor, first and second. And in every zone, there is except 7, 8, 9, 1 to 6 zone, there are 4 floors, and each electrical room is situated one above the other. So there are 4 electrical rooms, and they are connected with the rising main. I mean, solid connections are there. Next.
So this is what?
This is the electrical room distribution. Next.
This is general layout of all electrical systems.
These are the 4 floor panels, and this is the general layout of electrical room, one above the other. This is the HT distribution. This is the LT, typical LT distribution. ये डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन स्कीम है जो मैंने सर एक्सप्लेन किया था पहले कि रिडंडेंसी, तो एवरी लोड इज कनेक्टेड फ्रॉम द टू राइजिंग मेन्स. तो एक अगर ट्रांसफार्मर या वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सिस्टम अगर आउट होता है तो दूसरे से हम इमीडिएटली चेंज ओवर करके एवरी लोड वी कैन मैनेज विद दैट. नेक्स्ट. This is redundant details about the which I just told.
Safety.
These are the lightning, surge protection and earthing system, safety and all IS standard according to which it has been done.
Conservation.
These are the measures which we have taken for electrical energy conservation. And these are all latest measures which we take in all modern buildings. Now second part is electromechanical system. Back. HVAC. Okay. HVAC system, public health, engineering, firefighting, and IBMS. ये अपने मन से. HVAC this
क्या हो रहा है?
सर ये आपके उस पे जो मैंने सेट किया था उस पे चलिए इस पे
क्या अपने आप चल रहा है ये?
नहीं, हाँ सर, पता नहीं।
नहीं आप छोड़ के
एस्केप कर दो।
जस्ट छोड़ो। सिस्टम के
नहीं तो प्रेजेंटेशन से नॉर्मल उसमें आ जाओ फिर, और क्या एडिट मोड में क्या हुआ? CFD है। हाँ
स्लाइड्स मतलब वो स्लाइड पे मैनुअल चलेगा।
अच्छा, ये भी आउटसोर्स
तो ये
होगा ना,
पार्लियामेंट हाउस का ये जो पब्लिक डोमेन में इंफॉर्मेशन जाने से कोई इश्यू तो नहीं है?
ना तो कंपनी वाले को दे
So
दिया
I have removed that particular part where it shows something about its location and all. So we deliberately kept it as a general
Because
information.
it is being now telecasted online, so everybody can see it.
नो
right?
प्रॉब्लम, नो प्रॉब्लम।
CFD का क्या मतलब होता है यार, हिंदी में बताओ तो।
सर ये कंप्यूटेशनल फ्लूइड डायनामिक एनालिसिस है।
हाँ, तो
इसको
इतना
सर
बोल,
करते
इतना
हैं-
बोल दो ना भैया,
जी
इतना बोल दो। ये बोल दो, नहीं पता होता है लोगों को।
तो ये सर एयर फ्लो का हम एनालिसिस
तो
करते हैं।
बताओ ना,
कितना-
दिखाओ ना चला के, वो एनिमेशन दिखाओ।
चलो आगे।
यू आर एज्यूमिंग दैट एवरीबडी इज अंडरस्टैंडिंग एवरीथिंग। चलो आगे दिखाओ जरा, वहां से जहाँ पे रुके थे पार्लियामेंट की, जरा कुछ विजुअल से दिखाना शुरू करो। पहले वाला सब आपने टेक्स्ट दिखा दिया। यहाँ से तो यहाँ तक तो सो रहे हैं लोग, किसी को नहीं पता। आपने कहा सब पढ़ लो, सब लिखा हुआ है। अब उसके आगे से चलो। नेक्स्ट ठीक है ना।
These are green building features, sir.
हीट रिकवरी क्या सिस्टम है? हीट रिकवरी क्या सिस्टम है इसमें?
हीट रिकवरी व्हील।
हीट रिकवरी व्हील है
जी, हीट रिकवरी व्हील्स हैं सर।
हैं?
हीट रिकवरी व्हील्स we have given.
And fresh air HUs are provided with three stage filtration. Three stage filtration क्या चीज मतलब? HEPA फिल्टर भी हैं?
हाँ सर, HEPA फिल्टर 2 इसके है। हमने इसका क्या नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में इसका पूरा दिया।
दिखाओ, चलो आगे चलो फिर। ठीक है।
मर्व 8, मर्व 13 और एक्टिवेटेड कार्बन फिल्टर, ऐसे 3 स्टेज पे हमने इस एयर को फिल्टर किया है।
दिखाओ।
जी सर।
अच्छा ये दिखाया मर्व 8 मर्व 13। ओके। अल्ट्रासोनिक ह्यूमिडिफायर हीट पंप इज यूज्ड along with chiller to maintain temperature and RS। ठीक है, चलिए नेक्स्ट दिखाइए।
सर सप्लाई एयर डक्ट में UVGI फिल्टरेशन किया है सर फॉर किलिंग द बैक्टीरिया एंड वायरस। एंड कूलिंग कॉयल में सर जो ये रिटर्न एयर कूलिंग कॉयल में जो बैक्टीरिया वगैरह जम जाए तो उसके लिए भी UVGI फिल्टरेशन है। दोनों जगह सर UVGI एक्टिवेशन सिस्टम दे रखा है।
ओके,
नेक्स्ट प्लीज। ये सर वही उसके डायग्राम्स है सर।
तो क्या दिखाना क्या चाह रहे हैं इसमें? प्रॉब्लम क्या थी
इसमें सर? हमने नहीं प्रॉब्लम कुछ नहीं है सर। व्हेन यू डिजाइन चिलर फॉर सर्टेन कैपेसिटी and we put certain parameters to have comfort cooling, तो जनरली 1 to 2 मीटर पर सेकंड की वेलोसिटी, मतलब एकदम फोर्स भी नहीं आना चाहिए, तो वो रख के हम पैरामीटर चेंज करते हैं सर। तो ये पहले 3 लाइनें दिखा रही है आपको अलग अलग व्यू से, टॉप व्यू और साइड व्यू से, कि मेरी ये जो आप इसमें अगर देखते थे
एयर टू बी ट्रीटेड एज ए फ्लूइड, हाउ इट विल मूव।
यस सर, एग्जैक्टली।
फिर उसके बाद नीचे दिखा रहा है कि टेम्परेचर किस तरीके से मेंटेन होगा। तो हमारा जो कंफर्ट लेवल है वो अचीव होगा कि नहीं, जितने एक्चुअल ऑक्यूपाइड जोन है उसमें, यही है ना। तो बताया करो ना यार, लोगों को क्या पता तुम क्या कर रहे हो।
सर वन मोर थिंग, इससे ये भी डिसाइड करते हैं कि किस हाइट पे हमें ग्रिल रखनी चाहिए।
प्रेजेंटेशन मैं दे रहा हूँ, ये देखो, ये बताना पड़ रहा है इनको क्या करें।
और एक चीज है सर, इस केस पार्लियामेंट में हम 17 मीटर हाइट है, सेंटर से हम ग्रिल्स है हमारे, वहां से हम थ्रो कर रहे हैं, और जो हमारे पार्लियामेंटरीज बैठेंगे उनके सीट के यहाँ से हमारे रिटर्न डक्स है सर। सो दैट इज हाउ वी आर मेंटेनिंग दिस थिंग फ्लो आल्सो।
यस,
तो उसी के लिए ये सारा CFD एनालिसिस किया था सर।
ठीक।
एग्जिस्टिंग में जनरली वी से एट सेम लेवल से ही सर कभी कभी लेते
नहीं, ओल्ड पार्लियामेंट में क्या सिस्टम है?
सेम लेवल पे सर रिटर्न
साइड से थ्रो है और नीचे से रिटर्न।
उसमें भी
नॉर्मली सर ऑडिटोरियम में इसमें यही
वही इफेक्टिव ही होगा, ऐसा ही इफेक्टिव ही होगा, और कोई तरीका ही नहीं है। हाँ, माइक लेके बताओ ना। बॉम्बे में देख के तो आप आए हो, हम
कन्वेंशन सेंटर में रिवर्स था, नीचे से फ्लो कर रहे थे, ऊपर एडजस्ट कर रहे थे।
ये कुछ लॉजिक तो नहीं समझ में आया, क्योंकि कोल्ड एयर विल गो डाउन नेचुरली, मतलब कोल्ड नीचे से आकर के उसको ऊपर फेंकना।
वो कहना कूल एयर है, हॉट एयर ऊपर जाती है तो वो सर्कुलेशन उस तरह से नेचुरल है उसका।
चलो अजीब लॉजिक, चलो ठीक, व्हाटएवर।
सर एक यहाँ से एक कट व्यू दिखाने के लिए
इसकी तो कुछ इसका एनिमेशन दिखा रहे थे आप, जरा दिखाओ तो क्या है, एक बार प्ले उसको उसमें लाओ, उसमें लाओ, क्या नाम है, प्रेजेंटेशन मोड में लाओ, तब चलेगा, ऐसे नहीं चलेगा। स्लाइड शो में करो यार।
हाँ सर करता हूँ।
अच्छा इसमें आ तो रहा है,
चल तो रहा है,
चल रहा है।
नहीं किसी में चलता है, किसी में नहीं चलता है। चलो
नेक्स्ट ले जाओ सर।
हाँ चलो चलो चलो।
सर दिस इज स्मोक इवैक्यूएशन सिस्टम डिजाइन है सर। तो
दिस इज नॉर्मल ऑपरेशन सर। We are using same ducts for smoke evacuation as well. In normal circumstances, when normal AC चल रहा है सर, आप ये देख लेंगे कि smoke exhaust fan और smoke makeup fan के ये जो दो लूप है।
सर एयर हैंडलिंग यूनिट से एयर गई, ऊपर से जाके वापस सर्कुलेट होकर आ गई। दिस इज अ नॉर्मल लूप सर।
ठीक, चलिए।
और जब ये सेकंड में सर जब आग मतलब आग या कुछ लगता है तो एयर हैंडलिंग यूनिट इज ऑटोमेटिकली कट ऑफ फ्रॉम एफएस पैनल से जो सिग्नल आएगा, देन माय मेकअप स्मोक मेकअप फैन विल ऑन, इट विल फिल दिस फायर एरिया, और जो स्मोक है वो एग्जॉस्ट का फैन यहाँ से चालू होता है। दिस पाथ रिटर्न डक्ट विल बी यूटिलाइज्ड फॉर,
एक तरह से शंट लगा के उनको अलग रूट से कर दिया आपने, निकाल दिया। बट देन फ्रेश एयर और अंदर जाती है उसमें, मतलब ताकि लोगों को ऑक्सीजन मिले इसलिए। बट दैट विल आल्सो मतलब फायर को बढ़ाएगा भी, ऑक्सीजन जब आ जाएगी तो नहीं
पर सर जो सक्शन क्रिएट करेगा वो
अच्छा
फायर, तो उसके लिए सर एयर तो चाहिए।
एयर तो चाहिए, तो इधर से फीड करते हैं उधर से निकालते हैं। वो 12 एयर चेंजेस का है, कितना है 12 एयर चेंजेस पर आवर। चलिए
सर ये सेंट्रलाइज वाटर कूलिंग का भी सिस्टम हमने लगाया हुआ है, which utilize
चलो ठीक है, तो ठीक है, आगे चलिए। एनीथिंग एल्स?
ITLV सिस्टम और ऑडियो सिस्टम सर। तो ये जैसे IT सिस्टम जो हमने IB और जो NIC ने इनपुट्स दिए थे, तो हमने 100% एयर गैप सब जगह रख के इसको पूरा डिजाइन किया है।
100% एयर गैप किसमें, मतलब मैं समझा नहीं।
सर
अच्छा दोनों
इंटरनेट और इंटरनेट में
दे आर टोटली सेपरेटेड।
आपको सर आपको
ठीक, फॉर बेसिकली सो दैट इट कैन नॉट बी हैक्ड एंड कैन नॉट बी एक्सेस्ड फ्रॉम आउटसाइड, अलग है वो। ठीक।
और रिडंडेंसी हाई अवेलेबिलिटी मोड, मतलब सर each and every point is connected with different switches. So when there is start from our network room up to the IO point, we have 200% redundancy. मतलब एक जगह अगर पूरा बंद पड़ गया तो दूसरी जगह से हमारा चलता रहेगा।
ओके। नहीं ये तो
नो सर, नो टाइम,
इंटरनेट
इट्स
में तो
नॉट
कोई गैप
अबाउट
नहीं है,
टाइम गैप सर।
वो तो अनडिटेक्टेबल।
सर ये इसमें हमने बस ये दिखाया कि कौन से एवी सॉल्यूशंस, कौन से स्पेसिफिक चेंबर्स में, लोकसभा राज्यसभा चेंबर में हमने क्या क्या लगाया है, कमेटी रूम्स में क्या लगाया है, कॉन्फ्रेंस रूम्स जो है 5-6।
कोई यूनिक चीज हो तो बताओ, बाकी तो
यूनिक सर आगे दिखाता हूँ फिर उसमें।
चलो आगे।
सर पार्लियामेंट के रेफरेंस में वहाँ पे हम लोगों ने पार्लियामेंट वर्किंग के लिए जो साउंड सिस्टम होता है, अभी हम लोगों ने मल्टीमीडिया सिस्टम प्रोवाइड किया है, जिसमें कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग, वोटिंग, साइमल्टेनियस इंटरप्रिटेशन, ये साथ फैसिलिटी है। इसके अलावा उसमें जो दिन भर का बिजनेस है, या उसको NIC के सर्वर से जोड़ देंगे तो NIC के सर्वर से जो भी लोड करेंगे एप्लीकेशन के थ्रू वो सर्फिंग कर सकते हैं, उसमें जो भी डेटा अवेलेबल होगा उसके सर्वर्स पे। तो पेपरलेस पार्लियामेंट जो है ना, चलाने का भी आगे जो है उसके थ्रू पॉसिबिलिटी है। ये यूनिट है मल्टीमीडिया यूनिट, जो वहाँ पे हर एक उसमें लगेगी। आगे फोटोग्राफी
इन लोगों को उधर बिठा रखा मोमेंटो देने के लिए, मोमेंटो बांटने के लिए देके साथ के साथ दे देंगे छुट्टी। चलो जो ध्यान ही नहीं। चलिए
ये भी सिस्टम मतलब हमने बस वो दिखाया। ये तो सर व्यूइंग एंगल हमने देखा कि मतलब इन ऑर्डर टू फिक्स द LED वॉल्स एट चेंबर we have seen कि मतलब कोई ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन वगैरह नहीं है, इसके लिए एनालिसिस करी।
क्या
साइज के LED वाला लगा रहे हैं?
12 मीटर बाई 7 का है, 12 बाई 7
क्या आता है आपका?
एस्पेक्ट रेशियो एलईडी वॉल का सर मैंने दिया है
ये भैया अभी हाई कोर्ट में बना दी, इसका एस्पेक्ट रेशियो 3.6 आ रहा है।
तो उससे मतलब हमें प्रॉब्लम क्या हो गई कि स्टैंडर्ड नहीं है मतलब। हाँ, अच्छा अच्छा
सर मैं
स्ट्रेच।
बताता हूँ सर आपको, बताता हूँ।
नहीं, ये पॉइंट जो कह रहे हैं वो कि मतलब हाई कोर्ट में कहीं लगा दिया गया जिसमें कि 3
झगड़ा चल रहा है, वो
1:2
9.7 into 2.4 का है, उसका एस्पेक्ट रेशियो 3.55 आ रहा है।
तो ऐसा नैरो वाइड हो गया मतलब। तो स्टैंडर्ड एस्पेक्ट रेशियो होना चाहिए, सीधी बात ये है। चेक करके बताना। चलो, इसमें RFID कार्ड भी चेक करेगा वो, मतलब तक बेसिकली MP का आइडेंटिफिकेशन कौन किस सीट पे बैठा हुआ है।
वो ऑटोमेटिकली सेंस कर देगा सर, और डिस्प्ले भी प्लान कर रहे हैं उसमें आ जाएगा आगे।
ठीक है।
ये वीडियो वाला IP30 बना रहे 20
क्या सर?
IP30 या IP20?
नहीं, कहे के लिए सर IP30
वीडियो वाल का जो स्पेसिफिकेशन होगा उसका IP30 और IP20।
IP रेटिंग सर IP20 इज गुड है ना सर,
इंटीरियर
इनसाइड है वो, घर उसके अंदर है सर, IP20 इज गुड है।
हम तो 30 लगा रहे हैं।
नहीं तो आपका कोर्ट रूम होगा ना, यहाँ तो
ऑडिटोरियम ही है, लेटेस्ट ही लगा है।
चलो देख लेना इसको भी। अब 3 फिल्टर लगा रहे हैं उसमें एयर कंडीशनिंग में, उसके बाद कौन सी डस्ट,
वो सब भी हाई कोर्ट में भी लग रहा है।
वहाँ नहीं लग रहा होगा।
ओके, थैंक यू सर।
धन्यवाद सर।
अगली बार और अच्छे से प्रेजेंटेशन देना, मजा नहीं आया। मतलब मैटर है, प्रेजेंटेशन करना चाहिए, ठीक है ना।
नहीं सर, इसमें इस बिल्डिंग में नहीं है। यस सर 100%।
अरे इसमें क्या नहीं है यार, मैं ये तो कह रहा हूँ, प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं है इसमें, है सब कुछ क्या नहीं है। अच्छा चलिए, लेट अस क्विकली वाइंड अप।
आज की गई चर्चा के लिए महत्वपूर्ण रही। अब मैं माननीय महानिदेशक श्री शैलेंद्र शर्मा जी से आग्रह करूंगी कि वे इस समारोह को संबोधित करें।
सुबह से काफी लोगों ने इसको समारोह को संबोधित कर लिया, मैं शॉर्ट अब इसको क्लोज करता हूँ। तो हाँ, बट मैं ये कहूँगा कि बहुत ही ज्ञानवर्धक रहा ये जो टेक्निकल सेशन है। आप लोगों ने सबके नाम लिख रखे हैं, दोबारा मेरे ख्याल में उनको पढ़ने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, बट आई एम श्योर दिस नॉलेज शेयरिंग सेशन विल कैटलाइज further discussion on these issues and we will be able to take better decisions having come to know more details about this. I congratulate all the presenters and our departmental officers also for sharing the knowledge and asking relevant questions. I once again convey my greetings to all the members of CPWD family on the occasion of 168th annual day. आप मेमेंटो वगैरह कुछ देंगे?
हाँ जी सर, बिल्कुल। हम सभी प्रेजेंटर्स, थैंक यू सर, धन्यवाद सर। हम सभी प्रेजेंटर्स के आभारी हैं कि उन्होंने आज यहाँ अपने विचार प्रस्तुत किए। अब मैं माननीय महानिदेशक श्री शैलेंद्र शर्मा जी से अनुरोध करती हूँ कि वे हमारे बीच उपस्थित इस सत्र के सभी प्रेजेंटर्स को मेमेंटोज देकर सम्मानित करें। सर्वप्रथम राइजिंग जापान इंफ्रा प्राइवेट लिमिटेड से श्री रतन सिंह जी। सर प्लीज मेमेंटोज, हाँ जी प्लीज कम फॉरवर्ड एंड रिसीव द मेमेंटो। राइजिंग जापान इंफ्रा प्राइवेट लिमिटेड से श्री रतन सिंह जी। धन्यवाद सर। आउटी नॉर्ड फॉर्मवर्क प्राइवेट लिमिटेड से श्री समीर बापत जी। धन्यवाद सर। जिंदल स्टील से श्री संजय नंदनवर जी। धन्यवाद सर। श्री संजय नंदनवर फ्रॉम जिंदल स्टील। स्केलेटन कंसल्टेंट्स प्राइवेट लिमिटेड से डॉक्टर अभय गुप्ता जी। धन्यवाद सर। श्री विकास गुप्ता जी, चीफ इंजीनियर CPWD। सर बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सभी का। अब मैं आदरणीय अपर महानिदेशक श्री रविंद्र कुमार जी से निवेदन करती हूं कि वह धन्यवाद प्रस्ताव प्रस्तुत करें।
Respected Sri Shailendra Sharma, Director General CPWD, dignitaries, guests, senior officers of the CPWD, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. This technical session held on the occasion of 168th CPWD Annual Day is drawing to its conclusion. I express my profound gratitude to Sri Shailendra Sharma, Director General CPWD, for his lucid narration on new construction technology initiative taken by the CPWD. Sir, without your untiring guidance, it would not have been possible for us to organize this technical session. I am thankful to Sri DC Goyal, Additional Director General Tech CPWD, and his team. Under his able guidance, the entire technical session was designed and successfully conducted. I express my sincere thanks to all members present here who had contributed to the department with all their might and thus made us today what we are now. They are with us in this gathering, our mentor and guide. I feel overwhelmed in my gratitude to them. I am thankful to all participating officers belonging to civil, electrical, mechanical, horticulture and architectural team who have came to participate in this function. My sincere thanks to all of you. I am thankful to all experts who made the nice, meaningful presentation to the various new construction technologies. I am sure that this presentation would have been liked by each and everyone present here. I am confident that these all new construction technology will benefit to the whole society. Last but not least, I am thankful to our team of officers for ensuring the successful conduct of the technical session, press, media, publisher of booklet, and all other persons who have made the sincere effort to organize this function. I give the special thanks to Mr. Sachan and his team who has made untiring effort to organize this function. Even in spite of the changes of the program, they smartly changed it and smoothly organized the function. Thanks to Deepali Mishra.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Deepali Mishra. She is Deepali
Hali,
Mishra.
sir. Thank you very much.
She has beautifully conducted the program. Thanks to her.
Thank you, sir. धन्यवाद सर। हम इस समारोह में सम्मिलित सभी अतिथिगणों का धन्यवाद करते हैं जिन्होंने आप पधार कर इस समारोह की गरिमा बढ़ाई एवं इसे सफल बनाया। आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।